That was a fun song. I like that one. Hi. We're here. Be one moment. Camera's at a different, well, you'll see. Hopefully it's okay. There you go. You can see everything. It's beautiful. Alright. Hello. This is an interesting angle for the camera to be at, but I'm gonna do some SMD soldering today. And let me see if I can get this a little bit. Let's focus. There you go. And you can kind of scan this and follow along if you so desire. You can go back in time and do that. But we're gonna be doing this, whatever this is. It's just a practice board, but it's supposed to be this. It's supposed to be this thing that you can kind of power up at the end. So I guess we'll try it out and see. When you power it up, you're supposed to be able to use these, I guess, these LEDs at the top here to kind of be able to tell if you fucked up your soldering somewhere along the line. So I guess we'll give it a shot and see. Oh, of course, as soon as I start streaming, the cat wants out. No, you lay back down. You had your chance. I tried to kick you out earlier. Alright. Yeah, put those away for a moment. And I guess, well, we start with the bigger stuff, I think, because that would make more sense. So these are unknown resistance. It's fun. Let's see. I'm gonna guess they go in R6, R7, R8, 66, 67, 68, 69, and 70. Gonna take a wild stab in the dark and say that's probably where they go because they don't fit anywhere else. No? No, they do not fit anywhere else. Alright. Well, we'll do the easy thing first. Because easy thing is easy. These look like they're about plus or minus 1%. I guess, well, they should be plus or minus 1%. Oh, maybe they're not. Yeah, that red on the end. There's a... the end of that, there's red, not gold. So these may be plus or minus 5%. Or perhaps I'm not sure. I can't remember what the colors mean, I'll be entirely honest. It's been a while. Oop. Just gonna bend these back. And yeah, all I'm doing is just kind of putting these resistors in where they go. There we go. And bending him into position. Try not to poke myself in the process. That's easier said than done. I'm worried. I have a lot of homework due tonight. I think I do anyway. I'm not entirely sure. The professor for this particular class that I have homework due for seems to have switched times from Saturday nights to Monday afternoons in the middle of the class, which is a bit of a pain. But I'm gonna try and check Saturday nights just in case. And this is the class that I dislike the most. All my other classes I actually don't dislike. This particular class is just painful. I'd almost rather watch paint dry. Actually, I might rather watch paint dry than take this class. It's so boring. I'm so bored. It's not easy either. It's a right combination of tedious and boring that just makes you want to throw yourself off a bridge. There we go. But I'll check it today anyway, just in case it is due today rather than Monday. Should be fun to take a look at. Alright, just solder these in place real fast. Easy enough. Yes. There we go. Okay. And this particular solder is specifically made for SMD components along with this tip. This is Chip Quick. 100 grams, 62%, crap. 62% tin, 36% lead, and 2% silver. Right there at the, on the side. At least I believe that's tin, right? Should be tin. I sort of vaguely remember my tables. Yeah. Alrighty, that looks good, just about. I slightly overshot some of this, so I'll go ahead and fix it. There we go. Pulling the solder up the wire, kind of pull some of it off. Hey, there we go. Looks about right. Just clip the leads. I think I don't have with me right here, so I'm very well prepared. Oh, come on. There we go. And these are the easy parts. This was probably the easiest part to solder, unfortunately. It's only gonna get harder from here. Oh, this is gonna suck. But it'll be worth it in the end. Apparently it's supposed to be, like I said earlier, kind of self-checking, where it will light up LEDs based on your soldering job. If you missed something or put something in backwards, it should show on the LEDs. Should. So it'll be interesting to see how I did. Okay. Yeah, that looks pretty good. All things considered. Alright, yeah, that was the easy part. It's time for the hard parts. Question is what should I go for first? Well, here's a bunch of diodes. I think I'll go for the ICs. Those are generally not super easy, so try them out real fast. Alright, tweezers I also did not get. There we go. Not you. There we go, you. Boy, this is not easy to get off. Come on. There we go. Come on now. So we've got this chip. That's an SOP. And I cannot tell which direction it should go. Never mind. Figured it out. Took a minute. Hopefully this is zoomed in enough for you. Generally I try and go a little bit further, but I wasn't able to this time. So hopefully you can still see it. Okay. Alright, now I need to be very careful about this. Okay. That should be in place, except it has to move. It should be in place, he says. It was not. Finally got it. Boy, that took a moment. Alright. So now this is actually in place and I can... All it is just kind of tacked. Not... didn't like really weld it in very well. All I did was just kind of tack it in. So I'm gonna have to do that. Okay. And all I did was just put a giant glob of solder across all of those pins. Same here. Just putting a giant glob of solder across those pins. Making absolutely sure they're really welded in place there. And now I'm going to essentially just take this off. Alright. Enough flux on there. And now I just wipe it off. All I'm gonna do to do that is just kind of drag it across the pins in the same direction that the pins are going. So that way it sticks to the solder will stick to the components and the pads, but it won't stick to anything else. Like that. Again, hopefully you can see that. It's a little bit smaller on my screen, but I know it's bigger on yours, so should be fine. Alright, so same here, I'm going to do the same thing, but I did, like I said, originally forget that my solder doesn't have any flux in it, so I'm going to have to kind of add flux manually to the board. Okay, that's annoying. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to soak the board in flux. Release the pads over here. Alright. Now this goes on the pads. This thing barely reaches the pads. Each of those pins on there just barely reaches them. I forgot to tin this pad. This is why we practice. Added challenge. Okay, I keep hitting my microphone there. There we go. Alright, like I said, all I did was just kind of tack that in. And all I'm going to do now is just kind of take this solder and just kind of run it across all of the pins on the side. Same here. Just running all the solder across all the pins. I don't care if I bridge them together or anything. All that matters is that solder gets onto the pins. And that looks okay. So now, add some flux. And we wipe off the solder. Again, this time we're wiping it off in the direction that the pins are going, so we don't leave any bridges between pins or anything. So bridge on these last two. There we go. Perfect. Alrighty. It's the two chips, I believe. Yep, those are the two chips. Excellent. To make things go a little easier. Somewhat easier. Alright, now we've got a choice. How exactly do we want to do this? Well, we have C1 to C10. I guess we'll do the capacitors first. Yeah, C1 to C10, that'll be the easiest. And these are 0805. $104, 0.1 microfarad, 18010, so not these. Those probably these, right? Yeah. These look like capacitors, they're brown. Alright, so same concept here. Just gonna flood the board in flux. And before I forget, tin the pads. Go. Alright. And now we add our capacitors. See if I can get them open. Alright. Just gonna dump out one at a time here. Thinking about dumping them all out would be a mistake. I am liable to lose these, and I don't have backups. Spares. Bars. My apologies. Oh yeah, this is gonna be painful. I'm gonna need my glasses for these. My extra special glasses, ones that magnify things. Magnifying glasses, if you will. I know what I'm doing. Yeah, that makes this a heck of a lot easier. Okay. Confident enough to do this with 3 of them out on the table at the same time here. Says before he loses one. Hey, you know what? It's much easier to see when you actually have magnification. It's one of the reasons I want to get a scope, a magnifying thing, yeah. Basically, I want to get one of those. Is it, oh my god, the word is escaping me, and it's frustrating. Magnifying scope. Jesus. They're sold on Amazon. They're used for They're sold on Amazon. Everything's sold on Amazon. Good, good. That really narrows it down. They make things. They magnify things, and they're usually used in. They put like petri dishes on them and stuff. Those things. I want one that has HDMI out, so that way I can hook it up to the stream, and you all can see what I see. Except magnetized. Magnetized? Jesus. Magnified. I get words today. Go. Alright, all I was looking to do is just kind of tack them in. Now what I'm looking to do is make it pretty. Well, to finish soldering them in and then make it look pretty. And again, all I'm doing here is just filling the board with flux. Just this section of the board, I'm just flooding it. And I'm just gonna solder this in. That's the idea. Then I can make it look pretty. There we go. Oh shit. I missed that one. Sorry. The smell of flux. Delicious. There we go. That looks pretty. Alright. Looks very pretty. Here I can actually, Dish. Look, it's a dish. And a little isopropyl. Big container, and then use Dan's favorite brush. Just gonna clean up this board, a little flux on it. There we go. Looking at my own handiwork here. Put the glasses of power back on. And I can actually see what I'm looking at. And perhaps you can as well. That's what I just soldered. And looks pretty okay. All the pads look good. Yeah, that looks good. Alright. Next up. Next up, I don't actually know what is next. Let's see. R6 to R15. Let's see, R6 to R15. These are the resistors, 0603s. Already on the... Alright. So 10 0603s. I'm gonna take a wild guess and say it's probably these guys here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yep, looks about right. These are even smaller than the ones I just soldered. Fuck. This is gonna be a while. Well, here's some 0805 resistors. We can do these ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna take a wild guess and say that that's probably what I'm looking for. Now let's do the 0805s, they're a little bit easier to kind of see for both you and me. Because otherwise I'm gonna go insane. Alright. It's much easier to do this when your solder has a flux in it, by the way. This is kind of a challenge at this point. Plus the solder has a much higher melting point because of the 2% silver in it.
Yo, what's going on?
Alright. Get all of these soldered in at the exact same time. That should be fine. Alright. Probably. Just the glasses of power. And all I'm looking to do is just tack these in. Not trying to get a good solder joint. Boy, would it be easier if it just didn't stick to my... The thing I'm looking to do is just position them. That's all. All I want to do is make sure that they are in the correct orientation, facing the correct way, etc., etc.
Yo, what's going on?
Yeah. Okay. And now, once again, I'm just fluxing it all up.
What's going on?
And I'm going to attach the other side so you don't move. Perfect. And now all I'm looking to do is make it look pretty. So, I'm just going to lightly touch the edges of each of these. After adding a fair amount of flux to them. There we go. And finally, clean it off. Hey, it's a Charles Delancey Jr. How's it going? There we go. Perfect. Self real fast and just double check my joints. That looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. Be these ones down here. Not half bad. Alright. This is definitely a challenge, especially with this 2% silver, which is, as I said, fluxless, which makes this a heck of a lot harder than it needs to be. If you ever get solder, make sure it has flux in it. Most solders do. It's hard to get solder without flux in it, but just make sure it does, because you will make yourself. It will make your life very difficult if you do it without flux. In fact, I'm almost debating on switching up this 2% silver, but I'll continue with it for now until it gets far too difficult. But it's already getting to a point where I'm thinking I might have to switch it up. Either way, we have some Mo603s here, and we have some Mo603s here. So I think that's going to be our next round. And this is going to be very similar to the chips that I just did, where I'm just going to flux it up. I'm going to tin one of the pads on each, and then I'm going to kind of just move them in. And hope that I get it to work. Guess we'll find out. Oh boy. Opening this package is difficult. This is not going to be fun. Alright. This is our first one. And all I'm doing here is just gonna tack it in. That's the goal. Just want it to not move while I solder it. The best way to do that is just to kind of tack it in. Lined up the way I want. There we go. Perfectly lined up. Now it's tacked in and won't move. I just kind of flood both sides with flux solder. And I hope that the soldering iron isn't too damn hot for this to work, and it was. And now I'm risking damaging the component. Nice. Well, that's the things that just did not work. Definitely that. This was not what I wanted. There we This may actually be too difficult for me to use the silver solder with. I end up needing to use the solder with flux in it instead. Oh, that... Why did I do that? Jesus. A list of things that was dumb. That. Do I have anything that's thinner than this? That's as thin as it gets. Alright, well, we'll give this a shot. Problem with using your own flux versus the built-in stuff is that when using your own flux, it'll kind of make the board sticky. But I guess that's the risk you have to take. There we go. Just check that these aren't bridged together in any way. Yeah, a couple of them are. Is that okay? That's almost okay. More flux. I moved it a little bit too far. And now it's just kind of like, it's just on the edge of the pads. It should work. It's just a matter of making sure that it's not bridged anywhere. Which is a challenge, turns out. My lord, this is not wanting to... Oh, and now I moved it. Alright, now it's completely off. Okay, well now I can't get it off at all. So, let's introduce something I haven't used in a little while. Let's get it up to, let's say, 650. Let's say 650. See if we can, have to be 750. No? Perhaps not. Oh man, it's bridged at the pads. I have to figure out a way to wipe that off. Meantime, I'm thinking, actually, this might be a useful tool for what I'm attempting to do. Alright, let's get this guy. Okay, let's see what I did here, because it looks like those pads are actually bridged. So maybe I wasted all that time for nothing. So for whatever reason, those two pads, none others, but those two pads in particular are actually bridged. Alright, well, live and learn. What I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna try using the good solder one more time. I have an idea that involves, he says, pulling out the not good solder. I'm like, why am I getting so much solder over here? That's because I use the other stuff. Whatever. I don't remember getting that much solder out of that roll. Yeah. For that. Try that again. This time by feeling. Okay, so let's try this. I just kind of set that down where I want it. Turn this thing back on, set up to like, let's say 700. And I kind of wish I used a smaller tip for this, but it should be okay. Just aim it right there. Is it gonna all melt and then fall right into place? It'd be super awesome if it did. I think it did. Well, I didn't damage it. That's exactly what happened, yeah. Yeah, excellent. Oh yeah, I definitely need to use a smaller tip on that because I just heated up the entire rest of the board here. There we go. And let's clean this up so that way I can actually see if I screwed anything up or not. Seems okay, actually. A little bit extra solder. Clean that up. Alright. Now knowing that those two are supposed to be bridged together, that helps. Okay. So there's literally just that guy right there. That was a giant pain in the ass. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and clean up the rest of this board. Just to get it clean. And I'm going to save the rest of this for next time. I've got a fair amount of it done, actually, surprisingly enough, so I'll save the rest of this for next week's Solderday stream. And in the meantime, I've got, unfortunately, a fair amount of homework to do. So I suppose I will work on that and watch some Netflix. Just try and unwind. But so far, it's not looking terrible. We're getting there. Very slowly, we're getting there. I do need to remember to start using that hot air gun now, I think, for some of these smaller components. Definitely. Alright. Well, don't have too much fun. And I'll see you next Saturday? One of those. Enjoy.